Tonight on News 26 at 7 o'clock, two former Richmond County deputies are finally breaking their silence about what they say really happened the night a fellow deputy was shot in the face. Quincy Cannon, Robert Wilson, and Andrew Acosta were arrested after the suspect claimed they assaulted him while he was handcuffed in an elevator. A grand jury decided not to indict the deputies, clearing them of their charges. But tonight, Cannon and Wilson tell our I-Team's Meredith Anderson that's not enough.
That's because when it comes to justice, they believe in this case, they are the victims.
They pull up to the sheriff's office just before 4:30 a.m. It's difficult to see much of anything on this particular camera, but Quincy Cannon and Robert Wilson say after a very long shift, their body cams ran out of battery.
Mine had died at the scene.
Mine's died at the scene as well.
So this is all investigators had to go on when Vernon Craddock Jr. claimed he was beaten while handcuffed once deputies were able to get him alone in the elevator.
I'm thinking there's cameras at the sheriff's office or in the elevator. Apparently there's no cameras in the elevator. So when we get...
You didn't know there were no cameras?
Yeah,
No.
We thought cameras was all over the place.
Yes, it's the sheriff's office. It would have been better if we took him to the jail. Because there is no shadow of a doubt there's cameras at that jail. We should have.
Do you wish you would take
I
him
wish
to the
I would have
jail?
took him to the jail instead.
Why did you take him to the sheriff's office?
Because we were instructed to take him to the sheriff's office.
Had cameras been rolling, though, Cannon says we would have seen Craddock try to headbutt them. He says his training kicked in.
When I hit him with my left hand, that's my weak hand. I said stop. It was too quick. It was 2 quick strikes to gain control of him. He stopped. I stopped. And that was the end of that.
It happened so fast, Wilson says he never saw anything.
Since it happened in the elevator, you was in there, you must have known about it. I was like, even though my back was turned, he's like, yeah, you failed to report it. I was like, report what? Something I didn't see? And that's what's had me, I guess, aggravated and upset the whole time. Yeah, I get charged on assumptions by what an investigator thought.
The I-Team obtained these new pictures of Craddock just after he claimed he was assaulted. The only visible injuries are to his lip, but both Cannon and Wilson say they believe that happened prior to any of this. They both say they're shocked it rose to the level of criminal charges, but what came next, they say, was more shocking. They were told they could resign and maybe get their jobs back or be terminated. Wilson chose to be terminated. Cannon chose to resign.
As far as coming back?
Yes, sir.
No, you won't be able to come back.
That's Chief Deputy Patrick Clayton on the phone with Cannon.
You know, you struck a guy in the face that was handcuffed.
Cannon says there's a double standard from what he says the I-Team uncovered.
And then that's when we saw the article that you published on February the 27th.
There's a Richmond County deputy suspended for not following procedure. We found after punching a man he was arresting in the face several times.
And I was like, what? So he hit a handcuffed suspect while he's in a headlock.
Deputy Ty Daly was never disciplined for this until the I-Team exposed this incident. Still, Deputy Daly was not fired and he did not resign.
I'm trying to figure out the difference between the two. You got stack A over here involving a Hispanic deputy, a black deputy, and a white deputy. You got stack B over here involving 2 Caucasian deputies. Let's burn them. Let's give them a second chance.
Just last month, the I-Team uncovered Ty Daly is once again under investigation, this time for a deadly accident in his patrol car. But it's not just Ty Daly. Cannon says it's this incident in the Richmond County Jail. Then there's this deputy. Not even disciplined after the I-Team exposed him hitting a man having a mental health crisis. But for Cannon and Wilson, the most blatant example might be Deputy Brandon Keithley, who was indicted by a grand jury for assaulting a fellow deputy in the head, giving CPR to a man dying from a gunshot wound.
And he's on administrative leave.
He's still collecting a paycheck.
He's collecting a paycheck because two people couldn't get along while somebody's dying. The one thing that we need to do as a cop or anything, we need to work together. And he's still getting paid.
Now, the I-Team asked to sit down with the Richmond County Sheriff's Office for an interview to answer questions about what certainly appears to be inconsistencies with how deputies are treated. Their office has not gotten back to us. As for Cannon and Wilson, both are moving forward. Cannon is back working in law enforcement with another local agency. Wilson is working in security. Both are looking at taking legal action.